give them traits? That's what I'm saying. So here's the thing. I don't actually entirely know exactly how 5th edition has done whatever they did. I just know I was half reading about it in the news this morning. Not news, but on my feed. But that does tie in a bit to what they were doing and what they're doing in Pathfinder 2nd edition, which they seem to be taking a lot of the impetus out of character creation. There's nothing to overcome if you take it out of character creation. Now, with the context of what you said, other races didn't have negatives, it makes sense. Quite frankly, though, my opinion on that is that you should just give the other races more negatives. I'm assuming you're talking about character creation races and not just monsters in general. It just seems like they forgot to do something when they were making the game and then afterwards try to retcon it. But if that's what you're going with, then there's got to be negatives. If you're a wizard, you got to have a penalty to strength. You know what I'm saying? If I'm doing something that's good on intelligence, like, you need to have a penalty somewhere. Wizards aren't supposed to be good in melee. Barbarians aren't supposed to be good as spellcasters. Though to be fair, class abilities and feats would mitigate that, I suppose. But in terms of raw stats, it just seems weird. Orcs and kobolds were the only ones to have negative. So wait, the thing I was reading this morning is only over 2 races anyways? They were blowing that way out of proportion. The thing I was reading was making it sound like that, okay. If only 2 races have negatives, then yeah, no one's gonna play them because they're the only ones with negatives. That makes sense. But wait. So then, no, actually, I agree with removing those. However, I now disagree with what had to have happened before. Why did the other races not have negatives to begin with? Elves are usually weak in strength. Orcs are usually weak in charisma. They should have had negatives to begin with. Why did the other races have negatives? Warrior wizard. Imagine buff wizard with a club. Looks like today we're gonna teach you about what happens. About what happens when my familiar meets your face. I don't see any cats anywhere around here. Ain't no cats around here. Only my billy club. Billy club? I thought you said he had a familiar. Well, most people get a billy goat. I decided I was gonna get a billy club. All right, that's what I'm saying. I see people playing the games and having fun with it and shit, and then I learn about things behind the scenes, and I'm like, no, why? Like, I was slipping out of my shell. I was accepting the fact that I would have to leave 3.5 behind and move on to the new wave of games of 5th edition and Pathfinder 2nd edition, and just keep hearing weird things. I'm like, I'm gonna go back into my shell of 3.5 now. That shit made sense to me. They usually had weaknesses, but they removed it so you do not have to be typical. For this, yeah, they want to give people more room for creativity. Oh my god, but that doesn't though. I hate this idea of creativity. Oh my god. I will argue against this fact. Everyone likes the part in the story where someone overcomes something. When the weakling overcomes something strong. That is an entire aspect of creativity, is working against a weakness. The idea that a player can't work against a weakness, in my mind, makes it sound like the developers, quite frankly, don't roleplay. That's what it sounds like to me. Like, it's good to, like, it just makes it more of a power fantasy. It's good to have a thing where you're good at doing shit, so you're really capable of handling it. But there's an entire half of character, or not character creation, but role-playing a thing of overcoming your weaknesses. Oh my, I don't like that idea. That really kind of makes me feel like they're just not dumbing down the game's the wrong word. We need Shakespeare back. I need new terms for the feelings in my brain hole to explain. It just sounds so wrong to me. Quite frankly, it's kind of like crafting for Final Fantasy 14. Like, you got rid of the complicated parts, sure, but that means that people now won't have any of the enjoyment of their character getting better at something. Cuts down on min-maxing, maybe get but no, that doesn't cut down on min-maxing. That gets rid of that just reduces the amount you have to min to max. That's just maxing. Like, if everyone still has positives with what you're saying, then there's, like, let's say I wanted more strength, right? Going off of 3.5, I would pick half orc who had a 2 or a 4 to strength and a -2 to intelligence. Actually, I think half orcs had a really bad set of negatives. I think half orc was like maybe 4 to strength and a -2 to int, wisdom, and charisma. Normally half orc wouldn't be too great of a choice, but I'm gonna go with that for this. You would have to deal with the fact of minimizing your minimums, not making them that bad, of having those int stats be low if you wanted to do someone with strength. In this case, looking purely at numbers, not role-playing capabilities. If you were going to be min-maxing now, you're like, I want strength, you just pick whoever has strength. Because you're saying they kept the positives. Like, min-maxing isn't making your lows lower and your maxes higher. It is turning in the least amount of reductions to have the highest minimum while maximizing your maximum by a bunch. That's min-maxing. Getting rid of the minimizations that someone has to give up just means they're going to power game more because you haven't gotten rid of the maxes. If you want to reduce min-maxing, get rid of the maxes, not the minimums. That's the entire wrong thing to get rid of. Oh, you're so mean. Over half orc, half celestial if you go 3.5. More murder hobos. Like, that just sounds weird to me. But still, my initial thought stands. I don't like where the game companies are going these days. I can understand in this particular case, whatever the one dude was talking about, he was blowing it out of proportion. If no other races had penalties, then yeah, get rid of the other races' penalties. But that does mean that the game design way back when at some point was they got rid of negatives, which stop making the game simpler. I swear. My favorite is 3.5. All right? But I did not learn on 3.5. A lot of my opinions on how a game should kind of be, I have 10 still, should kind of be, is still based around AD&D. That's what I bit my teeth on, was AD&D. A level 1 wizard rolled a 1d4 for their level 1. It wasn't auto maximized. You could have a wizard with 1 hit point. This is why wizards were OP, because people who played wizards died en masse. It was a pain to get a wizard anywhere until such point as they started to overcome the other classes in terms of their strengths. That was why, because you had to fucking survive to get there. Everyone had to keep your ass living. And then finally, once you got to high enough levels, everyone cheered with you when your wizard was good. That's why linear fighters, quadratic wizards wasn't a problem back then. Was because you started so fucking low as a wizard. But then you get to like 3.5 and every hit die is maximized, so they started with 4 guaranteed. You know, they have more than, you know, just 1 spell. You had all the 0 levels you could want, a couple level 1s. And then Pathfinder is like, all right, all your Z levels you can do as many times as you want per day. And also now you're a D6. Like the game companies, the last generation, kept pushing up what used to be the weaknesses to the accepted weaknesses. Wizards have low health at 1d6, but it's maximized at level 1. And they get con mod. Like, wizards didn't get con mod. They didn't. That was like a fighter thing. But so they've reduced everyone's weaknesses, and then they're like, oh, wizards are too powerful. Let's find a way to nerf wizards. Well, they wouldn't have been powerful if you hadn't got rid of the weaknesses. So that's what's going to happen now. If they're getting rid of racial weaknesses, they're going to have to, at some point, release a series of books or in their new version of rules, they're going to have to nerf all the strong races because now they've gotten rid of the weaknesses. Like, they're chasing the wrong idea by doing this. They keep simplifying it. Oh, people don't like playing wizards, so we'll get rid of their weaknesses. Oh, now wizards are too strong, so we'll make things have more magic resistance. You should have just made them weak. You've gotten rid of the role-playing aspect by getting rid of the weaknesses. A wizard should die. I'm sorry, but if someone mains a wizard in any D20 system right now, they should know what death is. They should die a lot. They should have a breeze come by and kill off their character. They should have 20 wizards die before they finally get one to be able to start casting fireballs. And then they'll truly appreciate the wizard that got to fireballs. Nowadays, all the wizards get the fireballs. So now they got to make magic weak. Though to be fair, they tried to weaken magic in Pathfinder 2. They did it wrong. Like, you can see all the spells they got rid of and nerfed, and they buffed what they thought were weak spells, and they buffed them way too much. They made that way too strong. All right, so hold on. We have a bunch of copper, and I have not been... They're still building. Build construction wall. Can I get a house? No, because I need more trees cut. But the tree cutter is busy, so I'll have to wait on that. Racial traits are way more important in 5e than ability score bonuses. This is true, so there is some things, but now here's a question for you. Are any traits negative? I don't know the 5e racial traits, but are any of them negative? Again, if they're all just positive traits, then you're creating issues. At some point, you're gonna have to be like, oh, that race is too strong. We're gonna need to nerf it because you got rid of the weaknesses. Why am I boarding up all the water ponds? Because I'm paranoid. That's really what that comes down to, because I'm paranoid. I already should not have anything free, so it should not be an issue. But I don't want it to freeze and have dwarves walk on it and die, or to cut down a tree and have the wood fall in the water. It's a thing that I really do not need to be doing, quite frankly. I'll admit it. I'll admit it. Though that being said, there is a reasoning behind it, and that's every base I'm on keeps freezing, even when the game says it shouldn't. The game keeps punishing me with ice, and it keeps letting my wood fall in the water. Combine wizards and 80 carries, what do you get? Eventually it'll be like AI dungeon where I can win by falling asleep and waking up. I had a level 5 pally that rolled a nat 1 on the attack and chopped the wizard in half. Literal twigs. And before the brook somehow freezes. Don't wish that evil on my Ricky Bobby. But no, there's probably not negative traits. For a Pathfinder 2e thing, again, this isn't just hating on 5e or anything, just because I was reading this morning. Elves, as a racial trait, a racial feat thing that you level up as you play the game, and this is in my video where I delved into how elves worked. Elves make bard pointless in terms of being a skill monkey. Used to be rogues and bards. They got more skills than everyone. They got a plethora of skill ranks, the most skill choices, and I believe bards had more skill choices than even rogues, and they tend to be better at them. More charisma based, so on and so forth. But for some reason, in Pathfinder 2e, they gave elves every skill in the game fully trained. Like, elves have a stronger version of bardic knack or bardic knowledge, the ability to jack of all trades, depending upon your rule set. They gave elves a fully trained ability in all skills, as opposed to untrained, half rank, whatever that bards get in other games, so on and so forth. They just gave it to elves as a race, but not a class. So an elf could be a wizard and be more skilled in skills than rogues and bards. He could be a fighter, he could be a paladin, and be a better skill monkey than the bard is. I don't know why they did this. Like, they keep trying to change things around, and they're getting rid of weaknesses, and they're adding more strengths to the races, and you're literally taking away from all the defining things. Why is that an elf thing? There are not negative traits, so you do still have a point. Elves get arrowed to the head, put them in the Atom Smasher, fully trained on to put their head in the guillotine. But no, there's, I think it only takes, admittedly, it takes 3 feats. But from what I read in the races, and all of those things, in Player's Handbook only, I know they've released other books since then, so there might be something to mitigate this. But elves, quite frankly, as far as I was aware, other than raw stats, humans were the strongest race in terms of raw stats. Elves were the strongest in terms of abilities, purely because 2 or 3 racial feats in, elves had every skill in the game fully maxed. You, by the way the rules are written, you as a DM could invent a bullshit skill. You could say, this is my campaign-specific skill that I didn't tell you about, knowledge Windows. And the elf could be like, oh, okay. I know everything about Windows now. I have now mastered Windows because you, the DM, have now told me months after character creation that knowledge Windows is important. So now I know about Windows. What is the point? Genuinely, I made a comment in that video. I don't understand why they put a feature into the game that hates bards. And someone commented on it was, well, you answered your own question. They put it into the game because it's so good that they put it into the game. That's like literally the way he said it. I'm not disagreeing with him. The reason why it's in the game is because it's good. But they keep changing the weaknesses, keep giving everyone more and more benefits, that the benefits are now starting to trample on other classes and other abilities and other races' benefits. So there's less of a point to playing, really. And Pathfinder 2e, the stat thing was, and again, I do not know if they changed this since then, was every race got a +2 in something. And every race got to choose another stat to put a +2 in, but they had a, oh, hold on. Every race had determined for them one stat to get a +2 and one stat to get a -2. And every race could choose to do one more stat to get a +2. So they had 2 pluses and 2 negatives, but their negative and their plus was decided for them. Humans, or it was 3 and 2, whatever. Humans didn't get the negative, but they got the +2. There was an alternate rule where everyone could choose to get a negative and it would give them another positive. Like, the way the math worked out is, if you were a human, you ended up with less negatives and the same amount of positives as everyone else. Like, the amount of positives overlapped at some point. Like, you ended up with 3 positives or 4 positives and 3 negatives, which meant that they always overlapped somewhere. But the humans didn't have that many, so they didn't have to worry about the overlap, so they got more stats in total because of this weird rule that they put in. I keep calling it a variant rule, but the way it was presented in the book was almost like a, by the way, you should kind of do it this way. This is the actual statty way. The other way we mentioned is the hard, annoying way. It's like the way they presented it was, this is a variant rule, but this is the way all good DMs should do it. Like, they present it in a weird way. If you do that rule, though, in terms of stats and stats alone, humans win. They win by a ton. Is bronze that much better than copper? I'm guessing so because we brought 10, I guess. So I'm gonna make a bunch of bronze bars. How much do I have for Coke right now? I have 88. That'll be enough to smelt a few things. What tile says this? Bronze makes useless tin useful. You got migrants. You're right, I did get migrants. How did I'm so sorry. Normally, should the sound system have done a different... Maybe it did and I was just talking and I missed it. I'm sorry. We have 3 slots available. So I'm enabling the dwarving script. We have 3 who can get this. Davos is guaranteed 1. So if we go over 3, one of y'all's getting killed and it's not gonna be Davos. Zakdos, that should have worked. Hold on. Yeah, power creep. But it's like a weird power creep that shouldn't be existing. It's on. Why is this not? There we go. I don't know why the first one didn't work, Zakdos.
Thank you so much.
One Professor Org. Thank you so much for following. We got a number 1 for Zakdos. Davos, I need you to type in the command again. Because I need the script to know that you're alive. You know what I'm saying? Like you have a dwarf reserved, but I need you to put it in. The Chulu. Got 5. I mean, I know what the last one is, but are you just spoke, Davos? Because when you type it in, Davos, it actually creates the file for you. I need you to type in !dwarf Davos. Because the script all keeps track of whether or not you're alive as well. Like it's the I'm joining the channel type of script. It's a one script does all. So if you don't type in dwarf, then it won't be able to tell you if you're alive. Like you'll be offset. There we go. Because now, like legit, type in dwarf again, and it won't give you a dwarf. It'll say you're alive. Davos. Davos. There we go. So the ones who got dwarfed, Davos, you are a legendary stonecrafter, an OK presser, and a legendary mechanic. That's nice. Zakdos, you're a peasant, you're a hauler, you're a neat. That's on you. And Chulu, you are a legendary blacksmith. Your specific professions will probably be trimmed down and, you know, codified later. Nice, still legendary. For the people who did get dwarfed, let me turn that script off now. At some point, we'll start getting migration waves where we won't be hitting the maximum capacity we have for dwarves. For the people who did just get dwarfed, we had Chulu was one, right? Yeah, Chulu. The Chulu has one master who is not their lover, though they you love the letter O, don't you? The Chulu prays to Austri, a male human associated with gambling, games, and luck. The Chulu's master is Oprah, and the Chulu's lover is Anul, who is not on this map, so I can't tell you in the description about him. The Chulu recently thought, I'm curious, tell me everything, because he's romantically involved with someone. The Chulu is incredibly tough and strong, but he is very slow to heal. Chulu likes cinnabar, bismuth, chrysoberyl, round lime wood, hemp fabric, the color gray, pikes, shields, and scepters. When possible, we first consume cave lobster, raspberry wine, and llama's milk. He absolutely detests blood gnats. He has a natural inclination toward language, good intuition, and good creativity, but he has poor focus and a poor memory. He dreams of raising a family someday. Davos recently thought, I've been contemplating Kadal, and I forgot your relationships. Davos, Zakdos is your wife. So, that got done. Your aunt is a baroness of rope labor, and you don't know any of the named dwarves. But everyone's like your family. Militia commander's a cousin of yours. You have a baron consort in your family. Your family's got connections. Davos is tough, but he's quite susceptible to disease. Davos likes mercosite, aluminum, amber opal, grizzly bear leather, beak dog, parchment, male leathers, male shirts, doors, earrings, reindeer for their large herds, Shadow trolls from their macabre ways, the words of the tulip rise in the sight of the play of rhythm. When Paul's first consume hyena, sheep cheese, and apple cider. He absolutely detests bark scorpions. He has a great musical sense, a great feel for surrounding space, a natural inclination toward language, and a sharp intellect. But he has a shortage of patience, very bad sense of empathy, and poor kinesthetic sense. He dreams of creating a great work of art someday. And then lastly, who do we not do? We did Davos, Zakthos. Zakthos, Davos is your husband, and you also have an extended family, though yours, Stinthad. Hold on. You have a legendary dancer in your family, and you have quite a few friends, none of which are named. Question. Stinthad the militia commander is your cousin, Zakthos. Stinthad the militia commander. Davos? Stinthad the militia commander is your cousin. Now maybe I'm crazy, but if person X has a cousin and person Y has a cousin, unless one of those is a cousin by marriage, which I don't think the game keeps track of, doesn't that make you two cousins? I think, I now want to look at the, oh my God. You have different aunts though, so there is something weird. Because the other one didn't have the Baroness as their aunt. You don't do it by marriage. So how do you have different aunts? Oh, this aunt could be off of the mother, and then the cousin could be off the father or something. So I have no real way to track this. Oh, I have an idea. Hold on. Easiest way to do this is to see a tier O'Neill Rimtar. A tier O'Neill Rimtar for Davos. Zakthos, do you list that as an uncle? A tier. I should have done both families. I only did like the father when it could be the other parental unit. Now we're in cousins, so it wouldn't make sense down here. All right, what was the other one for Davos? Risen Keskalitz. Keskalitz. Risen Keskalitz. Hold on, guys. We have a mystery on our hands. Risen Keskalitz. No. I don't understand. We need to look at Legends mode and check this family tree. Yeah, I don't understand. Somehow you have the same cousin, but I don't know how. I'm gonna say Zach. I'm gonna look this up later. Zakthos and Davos. Somehow you are related by more than marriage. I am a vampire. Well, so, but the thing is, one of those two, their parents weren't listed as aunt and uncle, and the other one, but they share a cousin? I'm trying to figure out how you share a cousin without them also being a cousin. Unless it's like one of them means like cousin first removed, one of them means like cousin second removed, or something like one of them. No, that doesn't make sense. I would need that dwarf here to see who their parent is to compare the aunt-uncle relationship. But you were all in. Some of you were a bit. Oh, I didn't actually get the Zakthos' physical, did I? Zakthos. Recently thought I prefer to be by myself. Zakthos is weak, flimsy, slow to heal, quite clumsy, and quite susceptible to disease. Zakthos likes ilmenite, nickel, silver, topaz, durian wood, white-spotted puffer leather, KV tooth, the color aqua, figurines, dogs for loyalty, the words of the Carmine scribe, and the sound of the meandering wisp. When possible, she prefers to consume sailfin molly and pineapple wine. Though she absolutely detests muscles. She has a deep well of patience and iron will and good intellect, but she has a questionable spatial sense and next to no empathy. Build construction wall. Have we been cutting down the trees, yes or no? We have. Okay, kick-ass. I'm going to build a building over here so we can have some sleepy times. Not even paying attention really to how centered or not it is. I need somewhere for them to go to sleep or they're gonna start accruing negative thoughts. We cannot allow that to build. Don't forget, we also need to start setting up a barracks and shit too. The cousin got randomly generated doesn't have parents, that person being their kid. My uncle married your aunt and then that person is both our cousins. That's true. It could be one of their uncles married the other one's aunt. So this could, however, let's say that's true. Let's give them the benefit of the doubt and say this is true. This does, however, still imply that they met at a family reunion, and that is not where you should be going to pick up relationships. Least of all ones you marry. That's not where that happens. Yeah, sorry, Grogran, I need to update the bot. It's down because every dwarf has been claimed. I need a third state on that fucking thing. I need to create a bot that I can toggle a state on via a command, or have it keep track of the active dwarves and just update the claimable ones. And then afterwards it says, sorry, you are dead, but there are no dwarves. There's a weird third state that for some reason I never thought of when I was doing the script, was creating it in the script to keep track of the fact that you are in fact dead, but there are no dwarves to give you. An XOR state, exactly. I don't have an XOR.
No.
The live dead ghost. Who said no? Why would you spend construction on the floors? Because you hate me.
No.
Deep down. You can find the path. Just because someone's building a wall doesn't mean you can't find the path. You moron. All right, so this is going relatively well. We've been converting some things into bronze. I think bronze does not make, I mean, it doesn't make a good anything, but I don't think it makes a good bludgeoning. So I'm going to go for 2 more axes. And then I'm going to go for 2 short swords, or 3 short swords. And we'll see what I can get made out of that. While on the right, I just have them making more bronze bars. For melee?
It won't work.
Good to know.
No. It won't work.
Bronze is better than wood. I know it's better than wood. We all start with combat skills. We have preferred weapons. I don't believe so. You are a crafts dwarves, not necessarily designed for what I'm trying to do with you. Everyone joins the military. Also, Zakdos, I'm just reclassing you from peasant to hauler, so it makes sense to me. There are some military skills. Zakdos, the hauler, is a hammer dwarf. And Art of Stuttering is a spear dwarf. Everyone else has nothing really in terms of skills. In the military sense, of course.
No, I can't do it. Oh, no way.
What weapon do I have an affinity to? Didn't I say spears?
I can do this. Oh, I won't do it.
Oh, no, you have none. You have no experience. 43 to axe, 43, 43, 43, 43. You have no affinity whatsoever towards any weapon. They're all exactly 43.64% being something you might like, maybe. You're the kid that you're the beerling that demands to go to the weapons store, and then when your parents finally bring you there, you just sit there and stare at all the weapons. Never make a decision. You drive everyone crazy. Build workshop carpenters. Why is that blue? And also, I have been proven wrong. Limewood. It does rain here. Though it took it like half of a year for it to start raining. So that's pretty low in terms of causing negative thoughts. I can work with that with military dwarves. We need bronze stabby sticks. All right, I will work on that. Did the other ones get built though? We're gonna need a bookkeeper just so I can keep track of the damn weapons. I think they all got canceled out, didn't they? Maybe not. No, they did all get made. 3 axes, 3 swords. How are they cutting down trees if they never picked up the copper battle axe? Did someone come with an axe anyways? They have a few legendary skills and high social skills. It starts to get suspect. Who's got the legendary? Okay, we're talking about Davos. And his social skills are, he is a legendary student, but that's it. He's not that good of a teacher. He's garbage assertiveness. He doesn't have much anything else. In terms of social oddities, T'Chulu the blacksmith is the more likely to be bad one, and Art of Stuttering is really assertive, and he's got some straightforwardness. T'Chulu's also got good other skills. Davos is just a really good student. Do I sleep, drink, or eat? Well, Davos, we can confirm this. Annoyed dwelling upon having a drink without a goblet, cup, or mug. So yeah, your guy drinks. Do we not have a carpenter? We're gonna have to start sorting out these guys. We have one carpenter, Zakthos. Zakthos the Hauler. We do need me. We do. I'm the chosen one. Not that this is gonna help any, but let's do a gigantic wood pile in the middle. I noticed vampires seem harder to spot lately. The bed trick still works though, worst case scenario. Also, we haven't had an animal complaining about food, though they have been randomly on grass. Somewhere in there, Doors will put them up there. Now, they refused because this wood was supposedly tasked out, but no one's grabbed the wood. So where are all the dwarves who were tasked out with that wood?
No.
That's sketch as hell. That's a lot of wood to be claimed in a task and no dwarves around to make sense of it. Alright, well these ones have their wood removed so they can be unsuspended. Or just removed entirely. There might have been something I did for that one. We'll see if that gets built and how well. And we need to start getting people inside so they don't sleep on the ground. Then we'll need to start getting them all in the military to randomly train throughout the year.
I can't do that there.
What? Which one? That one? No, that one's been
I
done.
can't do that there.
But you can. And you must. I think I might have made things worse by creating the wood stockpile. I thought all the wood was claimed for things. EBF, here's an idea. I'm gonna forbid these and then reclaim them. That should have purged your tasking. It did. I'll have to wait for them to grab the things and move them. Yep, now we're gonna start getting job item lost or destroyed. Guys, I had forbidden them, and those were things that belonged over here. That's why they were tasked out. Ah, gotcha. We're gonna get a lot of those cancellations. Each one of them that they're talking about is because I forbid these. These were all claimed to go to a floor somewhere else. That's why they couldn't be moved out of the way. But now that they've been unclaimed, the dwarves are free to grab these and move them to the stockpile, which is really what I was trying to get them to do earlier. Then when they're out of the way of the floor, I can unsuspend the floor. Until that time, though, has this carpenter been built? Let us resume the carpentry. That wood log has not been claimed, so the carpenter should be able to be built by Zakthos. That is who we're waiting on, you know, to do things. No rush, Zakthos. No rush. No, we just want you to do your job so that we can all stop, you know, going to sleep outside beneath the stars, passing out with no alcohol, you know, all that good jazz. No rush, though. We're down to 40 drinks. Gonna need to start working on farms and stuff. I think I spent a little bit too much time trying to cover over these stupid ponds. Just a little bit. Only 7-8 months of my first year doing nothing but cutting down trees and covering ponds. That's a normal use of your dwarf's time. You know, in a base where I was trying to hit the ground running and make sure I had military. Everyone knows the first thing you do, cover those ponds. That's the same thing to do. Why do we cover the ponds? Because what if I cut down a tree and the tree went into the pond? What if that happened? Basically. I think Domine's got it. I didn't even think anything of it true. Maybe it's just some Dwarf Fortress PTSD OCD or something. I saw ponds. We specifically have an area that's very hot, so it shouldn't freeze. So, admittedly, even though I kept admitting that there was little to no chance of it freezing and the door falling through it, I still felt the need to try to cover most all of it. Even the stuff that was nowhere near me, the edge of the map. You know, not that ponds have ever hurt me in this game. Never hurt me bad. Ever hurt me bad. All right, carpenter's been built. Let's get some beds. We have 10 units. They're all adults. We'll get 10 beds in there. They will have bedrooms. Afterwards, I'll build a few tables and chairs. They will have a meeting hall inside. Though, to be fair, it only rained once, so I'm not that worried about the outside. It rained once in a year. You can just build a screw pump. Well, actually, the big problem is I can't. A lot of these ponds are interspersed with the brooks. So any of the water right here, if nothing else, had to be covered because that water was not going away. All of these touched the brook. So they were magical ponds of infinite watertude. That one had to be done. But once I was covering ponds, I think I just went into a habit of, well, I'm covering ponds, so, you know, more ponds need to be, you know, covered. To cover one pond, you got to cover all the ponds. It's like Age of Empires 2, building a wall around your base. If you're gonna be walling, you got to wall all of it. Because if you don't wall some of it, then the enemy just gets through that way anyways. So if you're gonna cover the ponds, you gotta cover all of it, or else your dwarves will just drown in that last pond. That's how it works. We all know this. This is how it works. Greetings from the mountain home. I am your liaison from the mountain homes. Let's discuss your situation. What would you like from us? Why, that's quite simple, my good sir. What would I like from you indeed? Wine, ale, beer, and rum. All of that, please. Thank you. Yes, I would like to buy it. All the booze. Because we're down to 30. I don't even know I'm gonna trade that trade depot. We don't have anything. I haven't barely got my carpenter set up. Build bed planning mode. We're just doing 10 beds. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. 10 beds. Have we done underground yet? No. No. The whole setup to this is we brought the raw materials with us. I made 1 axe, and then I made 2 more axes, and then I made swords. So we don't even have a pick. Should probably make some picks. That sounds like a thing people would do. Let's build some bronze picks. Oh yeah, you're right. The plant's running out too. No, I said we were gonna start strong in the covered pawns. Some would say covering pawns is the opposite of starting strong. Some would say that those are the actions of an insane man. All right, 4 beds, 5 beds. Let them bring in more beds. Floor's getting covered. The important one was the ceiling. The ceiling got fixed, so that's good. You are finishing up the beds. I want a table, a chair, a table, a chair. What is going on over here? The picks have not been done. I will say do now on the picks. That'll give me some below ground because we are supposed to start trying to get a steel foundry at some point set up here. The whole thing's supposed to be one giant militant base, which by the way, we have 10 people. Who was the most militant of our dwarves? Zakthos. You are the militia commander. Congratulations. Create squad, metal armor, and then everyone, regardless of their actual job, is in the military. You should make a Mott and Bailey. What is that? I feel bad for not knowing that. Like, I know the terms, but I don't know the terms. I've heard the words. I can't place the direct terms. Is the Bailey the thing on the, where you go through the arch and it pours on you? That's not the Bailey, right? It is a type of wood fort. Oh, Mott and Bailey. The circle up the hill and then the big fort down below, right? Is that what that is? Am I right in the Mott and Bailey? It is. All right, I did remember that one as soon as you said wooden fort. A Mott and Bailey castle. The wooden keep is above the Bailey. The Mott is the hill it's on. The Bailey has a little goofy, yep, all right. Took me a sec, I knew the term. I do like that idea, maybe we can do that. Now that you brought up the idea, the only problem is our Mott is going to have to be on constructed hill, not a actual dirt one, as this map is completely flat. Also, it has a lot of water there, so we're going to have to work around that. All right, all the beds have been built. Let's make them all individual bedrooms that our dwarves are free to claim as they so choose. Right. When it comes sleepy time, they can go to sleep. That is handled. Oh, and I need the door from the carpenter. Can't forget the door. Build table, table, chair, chair. Just waiting on these to get taken out of here. No rush, game. Did you make the picks? Ah, we have picks now. And everyone in the military already grabbed some picks. We need extras though. I just thought of that. We're definitely gonna need extras because all the military is gonna preemptively grab their materials. Now, I'm going to try to go with is keeping people with useful shit as I can. Art of Stuttering, Spear Dwarf. So let's make sure Art of Stuttering is assigned to Spear. because he has skill in it. Where do we get steel from? Is it letting me pick from the people who are just visiting? That's gotta be what I'm looking at. There's no way we have steel here. We have no reason to have a steel pick right now. Yeah, if I search for things we own steel, it doesn't show up. That's gotta be one of the visitors' armor. I know how you make steel. I know. The steel is supposedly below us somewhere. And we're running so very, very low on drinks. All right, I have put this off long enough. We have to, while we have a lot of people to do their starting type jobs, we need to sort this out for other things. So this guy's an armor, but he's also the chief doctor. So for right now, he's just gonna be armor smith. He is the dyer builder. What are they called? Dyer builder? There it is. But why do I not see this? We're gonna commit them to jobs that we're probably gonna take them out of afterwards. Dyer builder. This way we can see any overlap. The engraver. I mean, that is your job. But I call them artists. All right, you had a bunch of skills turned off so you could be doing artistry. And I'm gonna turn them back on because also apparently dyer builders have everything turned off. So let's turn all that back on. Furnace operator, you're a dyer builder. And turn on your mechanics again. I don't care about your pump operating. Really don't. Gym setter. You are a dyer builder who specializes in the last square. Commit you through. Glass maker. You're just a glass maker, which means you're the first dwarf that I can use for something else. Congratulations to being a farmer. Some point we'll bring you back to glass. For right now, I really, really need you to do farming. Hauler, they're gonna leave you as hauler. Stonecrafter, you're so very good at stonecrafting, but I kind of don't care right now. You are a legendary mechanic, because I can take it off the other dwarf. So I'll take it off of him. I'll leave you, Davos, as a grease monkey. And I'm gonna turn off stone crafting. I will turn that on probably later. But if nothing else happens, you're gonna be the brewer. And the farmer will also do plant gathering. So we're gonna need someone to start brewing here soon. Faller, weaponsmith. You're the last dyer builder that we don't have. Get that through. Also fix all of their medical skills. Get that through. And then we have the woodcutter, whose job is to everything else. I'm turning off stone crafting for right now. We have someone to essentially be doing the masonry. I'm going to probably need you as a woodcutter. And I'm gonna turn off your architecture. And that will probably actually refix itself if I just call you a wood hater, a tree hater, that's the term. All right, that's actually kind of sorted for now with what we need to have happen. You look up traits and therapists to see who is brave. Bravery. The bravest boy, this is bravery, is Davos, with a bravery of 77. Incredibly brave in the face of looming danger. The biggest coward is Cyrilak, bravery of 42, is somewhat fearful in the face of imminent danger. Not an active trait for this dwarf. They're unloading their goods because we built the trade depot, but I have nothing to trade them. Build workshop. Let's get a craft store. start maybe trying to see if we can churn out wood crafts. We don't have a wood crafter, but what do I know? We are starting to get idlers, and I never set up a refuse pile. Set up a refuse pile over there, and then we're gonna do the orders of refuse that are gathered from outside so we can get them out of the way. I'm going to forbid nothing. Forbidding can come later. And I don't think I need to pay attention to anything else right now. Just let that be. We are down to 5 plants, so I really need the gather plant thing to go through. Like now. Because I'm also gonna need these plants so that we can not cut down, we should stop, actually. Hold on. Caps lock is on. Let us cancel the entire map of everything. I believe there's still a bunch of tree designations and we have too much wood. Then I'll go back and do plants. Right here. The priority of 1. Please get some plants. Now, I believe we do have, the hauler can do wood crafting. So I'm going to try. Only the brave boys should have corpse hauling. I see what you're saying. You have a point there. But only one person was quote unquote brave. Does that mean everyone else loses body hauling? Only Art of Stuttering was the brave boy. No, Davos, I'm sorry. Only Davos was the brave boy. You mean burial? Or is there animal, burial, food, furniture, refuse? Yeah, that's gotta be it. There's not a specific corpse hauling one. All right, they're still canceling things because of what I did earlier. I need a more wood stockpile. So I'm trying to get the wood out of there so I can finish the building. That was like the big concern I had. There. The problem was, for the longest time I was saying I had no wood, so I just ordered everything to be cut down, and then like a smart person, I stopped paying attention to what they were actually doing with it, and they cut down too much wood. So now we're inundated with wood. You can see in that tab also their mental threshold for breaking. Really? I did not know that. Where is breaking? Breaking's a B. Oh, you mean their propensity for anger? So Big Orange 45 is the calmest, and Art of Stuttering is the most angry, with being slow to anger. In terms of anxiety, Sirlac is the calmest, while Zakthos is very nervous, more likely to stumble obliviously and go stark raving mad. So the only person we're really worried about is Zakthos. He's the only one who had a negative one of these propensities. Oh, there is depression.
Make more room. Here comes migrants.
Zakthos rarely feels discouraged, and Sirlac rarely feels discouraged with slightly less. And we got more migrants. How many do we get? 2. Means I will turn on. Oop, nope. Some of them might be kids. And also there's more than 2, definitely. We'll let them come in. I need to see what the number is, and then I'll up it for the script. Went from 10 to 17. Yeah, all right, we'll just turn the script on. We'll just enable it. I think we are now ahead of the curve for claims, so the script shall just be on for now. We definitely have dwarves. We'll let them all continue in, and they'll resort out their jobs again. See if we have more people to do shit. Crap though. Build workshop still. Needing those plants. Really needing those plants to get done. Who's the plant guy? We have someone on plants. Definitely have someone on plants now. Sirlac. But they're not doing it. Why do we decide? Okay, no, apparently he is. He's just now doing it. He has decided once I'm looking at him that perhaps he should do his job. Please get us some plants so we can make some booze. It also means the crafts dwarf shop, making wooden crafts. Hold on, please. About to start making the pots. I'm gonna take crafts off of repeat. Dwarf 6 for who? Suloic. Suloic, I haven't seen you in a while. How are you doing? I don't think I have. Perhaps I have, but my memory is bad. I've lost my mouse. Has nickname. You're dwarf 6. Suloic. I got 13 for 1 Professor. 7, 14. 1 short would be here. 1 Professor. Alright, I got you two in. Sweet. And I see. I'll do the descriptions and then we'll end the video. Or end, not the. If you're new, just bear with me. You'll know. Suloic. Suloic's relationships are extended. One Professor is Suloic's niece. And Suloic has a lover and a dwarf that is not on the current map. Other than that, no one that we know is related to Suloic. Suloic recently thought everything is alright because Suloic is incredibly tough. Suloic likes rutile, silver, red grossular, scimitars, greaves, llamas for their jutting teeth, and the sight of the luxury of music. When possible, he prefers to consume wolf, perch, tomato wine, and goat's milk. He absolutely detests large roaches. He has very good sense of the position of his own body, but he has a meager ability with social relationships, meager creativity, poor empathy, a questionable spatial sense, little patience, very bad intuition, and really poor focus. He dreams of mastering a skill someday. And Professor Org. Professor Org, you have a husband who is on this base as a trader. Your extended family, Suloic, is an uncle of yours. You also have a lover in addition to your husband, Naughty, but no one that we know of on this base. And you were not friends with any of them either. One Professor Org recently thought art is life. She is very strong, but she is very quick to tire and very slow to heal. One Professor Org likes cinnabar, brass rhodolite, chestnut wood, creeping eye leather, giant moose hoof, platypus parchment, the color white, cabacons, maces, hatch covers, cows that are haunting moose, orangutans for their colorful hair, the words of the umber sparks, and the sight of the flicker of earth. When possible, she prefers to consume white Malay beer and maize, though she absolutely detests blood gnats. She has good intellect and good creativity, but she has little willpower, and she dreams of mastering a skill someday. For those of you who are watching the archive footage after the live stream, thank you so much for watching. We'll catch you guys next time.